Hey everybody! Today we are in the kitchen because I'm going to be trying out a recipe that I found on Pinterest to see if it's a hit or a miss. I'm sure, like me, you all have a bunch of things pinned on Pinterest, probably mostly recipes. I know that's how it is for me. I have tons and tons of recipes pinned. I haven't tried most of them, but I've tried some. Some have worked out really well and I love them and I make them regularly now. And other recipes have been absolutely terrible. So I thought it might be neat to kind of look at some recipes on Pinterest and find out if they're a hit or a miss, at least for me anyway, and share my opinion with you. And the recipe that I'm going to try today is, well, obviously it's my first time doing this. If you are on my channel, I haven't done one of these, a baking video before like I'm doing now, or one of these Pinterest hit or miss. And I didn't know what else to call it, so that's what it is. It's like a Pinterest hit or miss video. Okay, so the recipe is for a peach crisp. It is not my recipe, and I found this like obviously on Pinterest, and then it like links, like it takes you to a blog where the recipe is called Chew Out Loud, and the name of the woman who has the blog, who owns the blog, is Amy. I don't know her or her blog, like I'm not like a friend of theirs or affiliated with them in any way, and it's obviously, again, it's not my recipe. This is all hers, and I just want to put that out there in case I have to like say that and specify that this isn't my recipe or anything. It's not mine, but thank you to Amy for putting the recipe out there and letting folks try it. I hope it's okay that I'm doing this on YouTube. I don't know if there's a rule about that. Maybe I should have checked that beforehand. Well, if I get in trouble for posting this, I'm sorry. And somebody let me know if this is okay. I think it's okay because I'm like giving her due credit, right? OMG. Okay. It's not my recipe. If you'd like to find it, I'm going to try and put up a picture of it here anyway, but if you'd like to find it, check out a blog called Chew Out Loud by Amy, and that's where you can find this. And it's also on Pinterest. For like, I feel like I've said that like a million times. So, bear with me. Hopefully this is not too scatterbrained and hectic and all over the place. I haven't done a baking video before, so I'm going to try and show you everything that I can as orderly as possible. I don't know how it's going to go, and I'm going to stop talking now because I keep talking with my hands. So we're going to get started. Here's all of our ingredients. We have 4 peaches. I'm only doing half a recipe, so that's why that is not a lot of peaches. And we're just doing 2 per ramekin there. So there's separate ingredients for the peach mixture and for like the topping. So that's why I've kind of got things separated there. We have cornstarch, sugar, brown sugar, some spices, butter, obviously peaches, and lemon juice. Think, Lauren. Vanilla extract, and walnuts, rolled oats, sugar, and flour. So I'm gonna try and keep everything separate so it's as least confusing as possible. And first I'm going to start peeling and cutting up the peaches. So peeling peaches isn't exactly as easy as it looks, but I did my best. And again, I tried to cut the recipe approximately in half, so that's why I'm only using 4 peaches. Then I sliced up the peaches, and as you can see, I sliced them kind of into just, medium to thin slices. And I mentioned this at the end of the video, but I think next time I might actually try and cut them into small cubes or chunks, because the slices, they were okay, but the pieces were a little bit big for just my taste, I guess. And so next time, that would be something I would probably change about this recipe, is not do slices, but do smaller pieces instead. After your peaches are all sliced up, you add 1/3 cup of sugar to them and mix it up really well and let it sit for 45 minutes. And during that 45 minutes, you should stir it up a few more times. I actually think I used a little bit less than the entire amount, the entire 1/3 cup. I didn't use the whole thing. I used slightly less because to me that was more than enough sugar to begin with. While the peaches and sugar are hanging out for 45 minutes,
In my KitchenAid mixer bowl, I put in the brown sugar, white sugar, flour, oats, cinnamon, ginger, nutmeg, and salt. I whisked it all up, and then after those were whisked together, I added in the vanilla extract and whisked it up again. Now you add in 6 tablespoons of cold butter, and I used the paddle attachment on my KitchenAid rather than using my fingers, which is what the recipe called for. It said to just crumble everything and like mix it up together with your fingers, but I'm kind of weird about not liking to get my hands dirty when I bake, and even cutting up the peaches was like icky to me because my hands are all dirty, so it's just something I'm weird about. So I used the paddle attachment for this instead of my hands, and that worked well enough for me. So you just mix it up until the butter is incorporated, and then just keep mixing it until it's all nice and crumbly. The final ingredient for the crumble topping is nuts, if you would like to add them, and I used walnuts, so I just very briefly mixed those in. Now you take your crumble topping and lay it out on a foil-lined pan. Well, that's my preference, is a foil-lined pan because it makes cleanup a lot easier. So you just spread it out nice and evenly, and you bake it for 12 to 14 minutes or until it's lightly browned, and give it a stir about halfway through cooking. This is where I kind of goofed, and I actually baked it for the full 12 to 14 minutes, even though I had cut the crumble mixture in half, so a little bit too long. Now you drain the peaches and reserve some of the juice that's left over in the bowl. And I don't really know if I did anything wrong, but I didn't have that much juice left over. Into that peach juice that you've reserved, you're going to add cornstarch, lemon juice, salt, cinnamon, ginger, and nutmeg, and whisk it all up. Then you're going to gently stir in the peaches. Because I made a smaller recipe, instead of a larger baking dish, I just used 2 smaller kind of individual sized ramekins, and I used the wrapper for my stick of butter to butter the inside of them so that the peaches wouldn't stick so much, and then I divided the peaches up evenly between the 2 dishes. And finally, you take your crisp topping and sprinkle it over your peaches. Again, earlier I think I baked the crisp a little bit too long, so it's browner at this point than I think it should be, in my opinion. So after I was done adding it on top of the peaches, I covered each ramekin with aluminum foil to help prevent it from browning too much more while it was baking in the oven. Then I baked them at 375 degrees for 30 minutes, though the recipe does instruct you to bake it from anywhere from 25 minutes to 40 minutes. But I found that 30 worked for me.
Okay, just gonna take them out of the oven now. Okay. Not as light as it looks. Obviously, I did not use one of my nicer baking sheets because, you know, food's not touching the pan directly, so I just kind of used an older one. Okay, this is what worried me and why I put the foil on, because I didn't want them to be too brown since I over browned the crisp before. They're bubbling, so super hot out of the oven and looking pretty good. So I'll give it a little while and then I'll taste. Alrighty, so this has had some time to cool. I got the kitchen straightened up and did the dishes and all that crummy stuff. But now I'm going to taste it. It smells amazing. And I hope it's good. And I hope that I didn't totally ruin the crisp part by overcooking it. Okay, I've got a big spoonful. Here we go. I like it. I really do. It has not a whole lot of spice in it, like the cinnamon and nutmeg, but you can definitely taste the nutmeg, and it's not bad. So if you're not a big nutmeg fan, maybe leave it out altogether or cut it back to eat. I mean, I only put a little bit in for half a recipe, but maybe put even less in than that. I don't mind it though. It's not my favorite, but I don't mind it. I can't taste the ginger at all, but I can definitely taste the nutmeg and cinnamon. And the peaches obviously are super soft. I think sweetness wise, this is just fine. It's not too much. I did leave out a little bit of the white sugar from the peach mixture because I felt like that was kind of a lot and that it had plenty on there. So, you know, adjust the sugar according to your preference, but I really do like it. I just wish I hadn't cooked the crisp part for the topping so long. Like, I should have adjusted my cooking time. It is nice and crispy though. And it's good, and I'd say you could definitely have this with some vanilla ice cream, which I have in the freezer. So I might try it with that. Oh, and maybe I sliced up the peaches, but maybe cut them into like little chunks instead. That would be, I think, my only suggestion for that. And I'd probably like even more crisp than I actually put on there. And I did put kind of a lot on. Okay, this is definitely a hit. I obviously can't stop eating it, and I really don't want to bore you all day with just watching a video of me eating peach crisp. So I'm going to go. I'm going to probably put a little vanilla ice cream on this. And okay, stop eating. I'm going to go. It was really good. I'd say this is definitely a Pinterest hit. So check out this recipe. Again, the blog is called Chew Out Loud, and I did just a regular search on Pinterest for Chew Out Loud peach crisp, and it popped up with no problem. So hopefully you could find it. And if you like to bake like I do, then maybe give this recipe a try, especially since peaches are in season, and you know, I don't know anybody that doesn't love peaches. They're so good. So thank you very much for watching this video and watching my first baking video and my first like Pinterest hit or miss video. I really appreciate it, and I will see you soon. Bye.